This week in our citizenship class, we're looking at Chapter 6 of Know Canada, and we'll take a look at the important words first. A constituency is a geographical area that's drawn on a map, and all the people that live in that area are also called the constituency because it's the people in that area that will vote for a member of Parliament to go and to be part of the House of Commons, to go back to Ottawa and to discuss bills and vote on them so that they can become laws. In this image, we see a map of the Medicine Hat, Cardston, Warner area, which is in the southeast corner of the province of Alberta. Well, we see the whole map of Alberta in this image. And Alberta is divided into 34 constituencies, or 34 areas, and so 34 people will be elected to sit in one of the seats in the House of Commons back in Ottawa. And if you live in the Taber area, or east of Taber and south of Taber, then you're probably in the Medicine Hat, Cardston, Warner constituency. If you live in Vauxhall or Enchant or north and west of those areas, all the way up to the eastern side of Calgary, you might live in the Bow River constituency. It's a very large constituency, but it also elects just one person to sit in a seat in the House of Commons. In this image, we see the Lethbridge constituency. The Lethbridge constituency and most constituencies include more than just one small town or city. The Lethbridge constituency goes out all the way to Coaldale, and it also includes Colehurst and Nobleford and Monarch and those surrounding areas. It goes south of Lethbridge, but it stops before it gets to Stirling. So Stirling would be back in the Medicine Hat, Cardston Warner constituency, but Lethbridge covers a large area also. Each of these three that we've talked about are constituencies, and as I said, there are 34 of them. Now, if you look at the cities of Calgary and Edmonton, we would have to zoom in, but those large cities are divided into smaller constituencies that don't show on this map. But in total, we have 34 seats in the House of Commons that come from the Alberta province. So we have been talking about constituencies. There are 34 of them in Alberta, and as of the last election, there were 338 of them in all of Canada. It has grown a little bit. In some of the older documents that you might read, or in some of the sample test questions previously, probably back in the 2015 election, there were only 308, but now we have 338. So watch for that in your practice test. There might be a difference in the answers. Polling station. A polling station refers to a building where you vote during an election. So usually they're in schools or churches or community halls, and there will be, sometimes there are more than one ballot box inside of that polling station, but a polling station is a building that you meet in to cast your vote. A secret ballot. A ballot is the little piece of paper that has the names of the people that are running for members of Parliament or members of the Legislative Assembly, if you're talking about a provincial election. And a secret ballot means that no one sees who you vote for. You'll be marking an X on a little box beside the name of the person that you're voting for, but you do it behind a booth so that no one sees which name you marked, and then you put it in a ballot box without anyone looking at it. So no one knows before or during or after who you're voting for, and that's called a secret ballot. A majority government is when one political party has more than half of the seats in the House of Commons. So if there were 338 seats, if there were 170 or 180 seats, then they have a majority government. But if they have fewer seats than that, because other parties have elected members of Parliament, then they are called a minority government. So a minority government is the situation that we have now, because there aren't just two parties that are in the House of Commons or members of Parliament. There's also the Green Party, which has one or two seats, and there's the NDP, or the New Democratic Party, and they have several seats. There's also a party called the Bloc Québécois, and they have a number of seats. And so what happened in the last election was the Liberal Party had the most seats when they counted them all up, but it wasn't enough seats to be more than half. So the other parties combined together actually have more seats than the Liberal Party. So that's called a minority government. And there could be a situation where a bill comes before the House of Commons and more members of Parliament vote against the bill that was proposed by, say, the party in power, the Liberal Party. And if that happens, then that's called a non-confidence vote. And that could easily happen in the current political situation we have in Canada in 2020 or 2021. So we'll have to watch and see if that happens, because right now we do have the Liberal Party sits as a minority government. As we have just been explaining, the opposition parties are parties that oppose the party in power. So the party in power in 2020 is the Liberal Party, but there are those other parties, the Conservative Party, the New Democratic Party, the Green Party, and the Bloc Québécois, and independent MPs, and these are opposition parties. Now the party that has the opposition party that has the most seats in the House of Commons is called the official opposition party, or the one that has the most influence on government policy. And so currently the official opposition party is the Conservative Party in Canada. And so that concludes our review of the important words that will be in Chapter 6. And later I'll prepare a presentation that will read word for word the document No Canada, Chapter 6.